Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Erik Turner. This week's going to be a little different. I'm not going to be able to break down Josh Allen's film with the all-22 footage this week. So I wanted to get some content out there for you Bills fans, show some of the clips from the broadcast footage of Sunday's win against the Patriots. Obviously a big win for the Bills to send them to 6-2. So I cut up some film. I broke down some plays from the offense and defense. So you'll get a good compilation of good plays and bad plays from the Bills against the Patriots. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to see you next week back in the film room as Nate and I break down Josh Allen next week. All right, 3rd and 4 situation. I want you to watch Ryan Bates, who is in at center right now. Him and the left guard, Jon Feliciano, do a great job on this stunt by the Pats. Again, 3rd and 4 situation. Watch Bates pass the interior rusher to Feliciano. He's aware of the looper coming. He's upfield. You see him close off that interior gap and then pick up that looping defender. Good job for a guy that just was inserted because Mitch Morse went down with a concussion. Gives Josh Allen enough time to let the routes develop down the field to hit Cole Beasley underneath for the first down. Here's the all-22 angle. Watch how the two routes by Stefon Diggs and Gabriel Davis clear things out for Cole Beasley under the middle. He slow plays it, and as those guys get vertical and lift the coverage, he is one-on-one with his defender, and he runs a sick pivot route, return route, up to the boundary, uncovers late, and picks up the first down for the Bills. Again, this would never happen if Josh Allen didn't have time to throw this ball. Just a great job by the offensive line and conversion by the Bills. Also had a great game. Watch this play as the Bills bring jet action across the formation with McKenzie. And the Pats defender on the perimeter right there, he bumps down because they're bumping gaps at the second level. He's an undersized defender. On the snap, you see the front side players, offensive lineman and tight end Tyler Kroft, all take their zone run blocking steps to their left and just cover down. They just let the play come to them, let that pressure come to them. That defender gets caught inside, and Kroft is able to seal him. But watch the left guard, Feliciano and Bates, as they seal off the interior defenders as well. Just a good job of eliminating that inside pursuit. So the Bills get on the perimeter with some nice blocks at the point of attack, especially by Kroft here. And then Moss is able to bounce it, and there's no pursuit from the inside. Moss gets into the second and third level with a nice cut there. It's a good play by the Bills. It's something they ran a lot in this game. They ran that zone concept a bunch with Zack Moss and Devin Singletary. This was one of the more successful runs on the day against the Patriots defense, and it was led by Zack Moss and the offensive line. First quarter, the Bills send out 10 personnel, so you're going to see Gabriel Davis be the move player right here in the backfield, and this helps the Bills schematically. So as Davis goes across the formation, you see that defender go with him. That's because the Patriots are in man coverage, and that's important because as the ball snapped, you'll see split flow by Gabriel Davis. He comes across the formation. That defender has to carry with him. He pulls a guy out of the box, and Zack Moss runs right up that way for a touchdown. Here it is from another angle, and I want you to pay attention to Brian Winters on the backside of this run, Ryan Bates sealing off his man, the nose tackle, and then Jon Feliciano, and how the Patriots react to the jet action, the post-snap flow across the formation. On the snap, watch Feliciano as that defender, number 33, carries with Gabriel Davis. Feliciano is just going to help widen the hole, so he's going to widen the hole right here for Zack Moss as Ryan Bates seals off his defender. 92 is playing the backside A-gap here, so it's really easy for Ryan Bates to get positional leverage, but the cutoff block by Brian Winters is really important because that safety, Devin McCourty, is coming down into the box, and Brian Winters has to take a really good angle to him, or else there's a chance that he can make the tackle on Zack Moss. So a good angle by Winters, and Moss is able to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Just too easy schematically for the Bills here in the red zone. That 10 personnel look put the Patriots in man coverage. It took a defender out of the box in number 33 right there, and the Bills are able to execute their blocks and get Zack Moss into the end zone for the touchdown. I thought Marlowe had a really good game as a run defender for the Bills. He was really good in run support. He had several good tackles, especially run stops to put the Patriots behind the sticks. But the Patriots are already behind the sticks on this play, and they motion the tight end to the bottom of the screen. And generally, that means the linebackers are just going to bump over a gap because the Patriots, of course, are adding a gap to the bottom of the screen. But I like how the Bills adjust here. They also bump their defensive linemen. So instead of just letting the Patriots just attack that weak side bubble, they are going to shift with it, and they're going to bring Marlowe down into the box. Now watch on the snap as the wide receiver to the bottom of the screen. He attempts to push crack to Dean Marlowe, but watch Marlowe's eyes. Watch his key and diagnosis on this play. He does a good job of leading with his hands. He feels that push crack coming. He gets inside leverage so that guy cannot seal him off. Eyes in the backfield. He sees a run coming right at him. He disengages and he makes a tackle. That's really good key and diagnosis by the safety on this play. Guy filling in for Micah Hyde. Great job of leading with his hands, disengaging, and making the tackle on the running back. 3rd and 8 situation in the first quarter. It's a really nice blitz by the Bills. The Bills are showing 5 men on the line of scrimmage in this odd front look, including Tremaine Edmonds on the line of scrimmage to the bottom of your screen with Matt Milano off the ball. But the Bills show 5 on with Edmonds there, but it's actually Matt Milano that blitzes from the middle of the screen, and he disrupts this play. He's the one that forces Cam Newton to step up into this pocket. The Bills are just swarming to the ball at this point, and they're able to bring down Cam Newton for the sack. So basically what this amounts to is a twist or stump between Ed Oliver and Matt Milano. On the snap, Milano times it, and he gets downhill quickly, and it's forcing the running back to come across the formation, and he is lined up behind the tackle. So as Milano comes downhill at full speed, he has to come across the formation to pick Milano up. Does a good job of doing it, James White does, but it forces Cam Newton to have to step up to his left, and he's looking to the left side of the screen because that's where most of his receivers were. But Cam Newton steps up, and it looks to escape, but now he sees Edmonds and rethinks that decision, and eventually the Bills are swarming to the ball, and they bring Cam Newton down for the sack. So really good disguise from Leslie Frazier and the Bills staff. A 3rd and long situation where they were able to bust out these odd front looks and throw those different looks at the Patriots offensive line and offense altogether. And that allowed them to bring down the big quarterback. And again, we talk about Milano and how important he is to this defense in the passing game. Well, he also adds this element as a pass rusher, and I think it often goes unnoticed how disruptive he is when he does rush the passer, even though he doesn't bring the guy down himself. Here's a draw play from Cam Newton and the Patriots. They spread the Bills' defense out on 1st and 10 and try running the QB draw, but watch the defensive tackle, Brandin Bryant. A great job of stacking and shedding versus Joe Thuney. Watch his hands fire out, and look at the placement. Inside, he gets hand leverage on Thuney, and then just watches Cam Newton. As Newton decides to run the ball here, look at the hand leverage that Bryant has. Thuney is trying to recover and get advantageous leverage on the defensive tackle. He's unable to. Bryant disengages and makes a tackle on Cam Newton. The Bills ran outside zone really well against the Patriots. Here it is again. And this is where the Patriots defense, with their undersized linebacker, Adrian Phillips here, number 21, and some of the DBs that they play, they play a ton of DBs on defense week in and week out, and this is where it kind of hurts them. So on the snap, watch the left side of the offensive line, Ike Boettger, John Feliciano, and then even Brian Winters on the backside of this run as they run outside zone to the right side of the screen here. You see Boettger get hand leverage on 92. Feliciano helps widen the hole right there, but then he quickly climbs to Phillips and is able to bear hug him easily at the second level. I like the block by Winters on the backside. He works to the play side numbers of Lawrence Guy, who is a really good run defender, and just throws him. Could this have been called a hold? Possibly, but these type of plays are not usually flagged on the backside of runs, and as you can see, the eyes of the referee are to the front side of the zone run play. So he throws Lawrence Guy, and that opens up a cutback lane for Devin Singletary. And Bentley's not able to close from the backside till Devin Singletary is already at the second level. 3rd and 2, and we have another good run stop by Dean Marlowe. Marlowe's in the box because he's in man coverage on the tight end. As that tight end stays in the block, he crashes on the running back, fills the gap, and makes the tackle for a loss. Again, his eyes are on the tight end. He has the tight end in man coverage. Watch how quickly he diagnoses that guy's blocking Jerry Hughes. Eyes now get inside, and he comes downhill to make the tackle. That's exactly what you want from that safety down in the box. That's why you have him down there to quickly diagnose, run the pass, get downhill, and make the tackle for loss of force, 4th down. 1st and 10 situation, we're in the second quarter, and the Patriots do a good job at disguising this coverage. But much like the Jets did last week, they blitz that corner off the edge from the field. But it's a good pickup by Moss. You see Moss come all the way across the formation, square the guy up so that Josh Allen can get his eyes to the bottom of the screen, to the left side of the field, and make the throw to Cole Beasley. Good job by the running back, not just in the run game, but as a pass blocker in this game as well. The running backs have done a decent job in that department this year. So the Bills run their switch release concept between Beasley and John Brown here. And what it does is it allows Beasley to basically run an option route, but along the outside. As that corner blitzes off the slot and that defender over the top has to gain depth because you see John Brown getting vertical, Cole Beasley's just going to read him. If that guy's dropping out, I'm just going to hook it up right here. Josh hits him, and they're able to get positive yardage on this down as the Patriots change the picture pre to post snap on the Bills. Here's the same concept the Bills ran earlier. Gabriel Davis and the Bills are in 10 personnel. He comes across the formation. That defender comes with him. Post snap, Davis is coming across the formation and pulling that defender out of the box. But watch the work by the offensive lineman. Brian Winters, a right guard. The center, Feliciano, and Ike Boettger. Those guys do a great job at the point of attack. So Winters helps Feliciano pick up that first defensive lineman right there, that interior defensive tackle. And then Winters climbs to the second level right there. Just a great job by him at the second level on this play right here. Good timing between him and Feliciano. He peels off at the right time and gets up and covers up that defender as Moss cuts it upfield. But also, watch the backside here. These are just as important on some of these runs. Look at the job by Boettger. He works to the play side shoulder, and then he just drives this guy down the field as Moss cuts it back upfield. A great job by him as well on this play. And the Bills' offensive line, even though there was some shuffling going on up front, they did a great job in the run game. They really took it to the Patriots' defense, especially their guys up front. Good cut by Moss, and they have positive yardage on 1st and 10. The Bills brought some pressure on Cam Newton on Sunday, and I really liked how they timed their blitzes. Like you see Poyer here, you see him and Marlowe kind of messing with Cam Newton, how they're going to roll or spin post-snap. It's Poyer that blitzes at the top of the screen. He does a great job of beating the running back one-on-one to create pressure on Cam Newton and have him get rid of it before he really wants to. The running back steps up in the pocket and tries squaring Poyer up. Poyer fakes inside and then swims the guy to get a QB hit on Cam Newton, and the ball goes incomplete. Wide receiver's not even looking at that point in time. So the Bills blitzed him 11 times. He had 10 attempts. He only completed 3 passes. And when the Bills are able to do that to a quarterback, play man coverage because those receivers are not that much of a threat, they're able to get that extra defender in the box to stop the run, but also to create these type of blitzes to create pressure. And Jordan Poyer has been the Bills' most consistent player in 2020, and he's lived up to the hype after getting that contract in the offseason. Towards the end of the first half, Ed Oliver had some great rushes against Joe Thuney. Watch him and Mario Addison at the top of the screen here. We'll start with Ed Oliver. On the snap, he's quick off the ball. He takes an outside angle into the B gap and gets an edge on Joe Thuney. You see Thuney, he really can't handle the speed from Ed Oliver up the field here. Oliver looks to chop down that outside hand. Thuney's shoulders are turned, so there is a soft edge here. And then you see Oliver just kind of rip through here and almost get to Cam Newton. But the pressure really forced the incompletion on this play. Cam Newton has to throw it hot and high, and it's a little bit behind the receiver and goes incomplete. So now let's take a look at Addison. Addison goes with a stab chop here, but he does see a running back coming to help on the outside here. So he stabs right there, gets wind kind of falling backwards, and then somehow swims the running back right here as well. And he is able to get a soft edge. So a good job by the veteran pass rusher of also creating some disruption, bypassing that chip block, and getting pressure on Cam Newton as well. So good job by Addison and Ed Oliver on this play, creating pressure and really forcing the incompletion. Here's another nice rush by Oliver versus Thuney. On the snap, you see him attack upfield into that B gap, and it looks like he chops down Thuney's outside arm and is able to clear the offensive lineman. But watch Thuney's legs buckle right here. So that kind of shows you the type of force that Ed Oliver was playing with on this play. His hand usage is starting to come along a little bit better, almost like we saw second half of last year. His explosion is back, and he creates a pressure on this play, but Cam Newton is able to step up in the pocket and complete the pass to his tight end, Izzo, right here. But a good rush by Ed Oliver on this play, and a good end of half series or sequence by Ed Oliver as a pass rusher towards the end of the half here. But he just has to work on adjusting his angle to Cam Newton. So beating the offensive lineman is one stage, but now bringing and finishing and bringing that quarterback down is the second part to that pass rush, and he's just got to do a better job of adjusting his angle. Here's another strong rush by Oliver. It's not one where he initially wins. He actually gets stymied by Thuney here, but watch his counter with power right there. Watch him throw Thuney back here. Cam Newton is able to get the ball off, but watch this secondary push by Oliver up the middle versus Joe Thuney. Look at him throw Thuney back right there and get a hit on the quarterback. Of course, Newton delivers it and completes it, but the tight end is still short of the first down. So Good power by Oliver on this play. He doesn't win on his initial pass rush, but he still helps push the pocket right into Cam Newton's lap on this play. The Bills did a great job of running out of 10 personnel against the Patriots. On this play, they're going to actually have 20 personnel on the field. So 2 running backs, no tight ends. They motion Diggs into the line of scrimmage, into the formation. And on the snap, he kind of bubbles out into this flats right here and pulls his defender out of the box. But number 91 is in a bind here. He sees Josh as a possible runner here. They don't have it properly covered. So he plays a little flat-footed, and that means that the hole is widened up the middle. So Singletary also is able to come across and cut the legs out from that defender. Now, Darrell Williams didn't do that bad of a job initially on Lawrence Guy, but he doesn't have control over the run defender, and he's one of the better run defenders in the league. Guy disengages, but this is why you go and get a thick running back like Moss. He's a guy that can make guys miss. He's a guy that can break tackles. He can play whatever style offense that you want him to run. He can execute it. He breaks the tackle here and gets positive yardage out of a really good personnel grouping by Brian Daboll. Look at him break this tackle. I mean, Lawrence Guy is a big defender. He's a big run defender, and he's able to easily break that arm tackle from him and get upfield for positive yardage. Trip set with the tight end set to the bottom of the screen. The Bills are going to attack the weak side, but they're not just going to run outside zone with their normal zone blocking. They have a tag up front for Feliciano and Boettger. So there's going to be an execution of a full block at the point of attack, and that allows Feliciano to pull and take advantage of the undersized linebacker, the hybrid player, Adrian Phillips. And we'll see it better from the other angle here. Just a really good job by the Bills offensive line on this play. Watch Winters scoop to the second level, cut the legs out from that defender so he's not able to square up Singletary in the hole. Now watch the fold block between Feliciano and Boettger. So on the snap, Boettger is going to down block on that nose tackle. That allows Feliciano to pull tightly down the line of scrimmage. And I mean tight. Look how tight he is down the line of scrimmage. That angle is important. He's able to shave an angle there so that he can pick up the undersized defender, Phillips, right there. And Singletary hits it up inside. Now look at Deion Dawkins. He helps widen the hole on the snap. Watch him torque with that inside arm right here. Boom, torque and open up that hole for his running back. Singletary gets up inside, breaks a tackle, and it's off to the races for a really good gain on this down. Just a great job by the Bills offensive staff and offensive line up together. They did some shuffling up front because of the injury to Mitch Morse, and they've been shuffling all year, but this unit really played well together against a strong defensive unit. This is the 41-yard reception to Diggs. The Bills are in 11 personnel if you count Gilliam as a tight end, but he's aligned in the backfield. The Bills are in their I formation, something they showed last week when they ran a lot of their deep shot calls. Well, this is another deep shot call. It's a play-action pass. Josh fakes it to the running back, gets his eyes to Diggs real quick, but then you can see he looks to push it deep. Boettger does a good job of riding wide that rusher. Josh Allen hitches up, and right here you can see his shoulders kind of tilt. It looks like he wants to go deep, I imagine, to John Brown as John was running that clearing route. But he quickly changes his mind. But when he takes his hand off the ball to start that delivery, you see the defenders jump up to try to bat the ball down. But he eventually settles on Stefon Diggs on a curl route, little comeback route over the middle of the field. And Diggs catches it, and he does some damage after the catch down the field. Puts him inside the 5-yard line for the first down. From this angle, it looks to be man coverage. And it's Stefon Diggs versus J.C. Jackson. And Diggs does a good job of getting vertical and then just snapping the route back right here. There's no one helping out underneath, and Josh Allen was able to deliver it to Diggs. And Diggs, surprisingly, is able to get a ton of yardage after the catch. He accelerated. I imagine he was pretty surprised to have that much separation and distance in between him and the defender that was covering him. Davis tries getting downfield, making a block for him, but it's a good gain and good run after the catch by Stefon Diggs. Obviously one of the Bills' better playmakers, and the Bills needed it on this play in the second half. On this touchdown by Zack Moss, the Bills really just bully the Patriots. The Patriots send a run blitz to the top of the screen, and there's really nowhere for Zack Moss to go. Moss cuts it back. He gets his shoulder square and then just drives downhill. He gets a little help from John Feliciano and Brian Winters. They pull him into the end zone for the touchdown. You can see from this angle, Zack Moss really runs out of options on the front side of this play. They get a linebacker running through right there to force a cutback, but Zack Moss broke Bentley's tackles all day. The thick running back covers the ball up, gets his shoulder pads down, covers the ball, and then just drives into the end zone. Again, he gets a little help from his teammates, but it was a big play for the Bills. A good drive, a good way to capitalize this drive. You can look at the contact balance by Moss on this play. Breaking those arm tackles. The Bills just bullied the Patriots at the line of scrimmage all day. And you see Feliciano in a lot of these plays, and it was good to have him back on the offensive line. As I mentioned earlier, Jordan Poyer is having a great year. You see these safeties rotate here. Marlowe's to the top of the screen. He is going to rotate out, and Poyer's going to jump into the frame here. The Bills are sending a run blitz. They're going to have Mario Addison slant inside, Poyer fill from the backside on this run, and he's the one that makes a tackle in the hole right near the line of scrimmage. So it's a good job of filling versus the run from depth. You can see it better from the all-22 angle. Look how they time the rotation here between Marlowe and Poyer. Poyer gets downfield. That slot receiver is not able to push crack to him, and he fills right at the line of scrimmage and makes a good tackle to minimize the run on first down. Second and 19 situation, and the Bills are going to send a creeper pressure. So they're going to blitz A.J. Klein and drop out Darryl Johnson into the boundary to the top of the screen. And Cam Newton appears to have a miscommunication with the receiver at the top of the screen. I think he's expecting this receiver to break in right here over the middle as Cam Newton tries to throw up and over the very tall Darryl Johnson right here. I think there's a miscommunication on that end, and the ball goes incomplete. But let's go back to square one. Let's look at Justin Zimmer on this creeper pressure. Now, he's in a wide alignment outside of the guard here, but on the snap, he jumps 2 gaps to the other A gap to the top of the screen. So he's jumping into that boundary A gap across the face of the center as that center kick slides to the bottom of the screen. He crosses his face, and then he's got immediate pressure in Cam Newton's face. He's the one that forces Cam to throw this probably a half a click earlier than he wants to, and that receiver isn't out of his break, and the ball goes incomplete. So Justin Zimmer affected several plays in this game, especially on this 2nd and 19 play as they run a creeper pressure into the boundary. So on the touchdown by Damian Harris on this play, you're going to see Ed Oliver really get bullied here by the left guard and left tackle. Look at the movement they get on him and why there's no one really there on this gap run right here. He gets pushed several yards into the second level, especially into Tremaine Edmonds. So Tremaine Edmonds really can't work over the top of this combination block. There's so much movement vertically on Ed Oliver that Edmonds is forced to shoot backside, and by then, the play is not bottled up. He is not able to make that tackle. Thuney peels off and just gets a piece of Edmonds, and that's why Damian Harris is into the third level. Now, you'd like to see Dean Marlowe make this tackle, but you got to remember he is coming from center field. The other safety, Jordan Poyer, is in the box, so he's coming from center field trying to come downhill to make the tackle. It's not an excuse, but he does need to make the tackle, but it's not as easy as everyone thinks. That movement at the line of scrimmage is really what screwed the Bills on this play. There's no chance that Tremaine Edmonds can make the play here because he cannot work over the top of that combination block. The Patriots play that downhill running game, that gap scheme, and they're able to get in the end zone on this play. Bills are in 10 personnel again, and they're going to run that same zone run concept as earlier. Davis is in motion on the snap. He goes back across the screen, and watch the guy that's on him, number 33. He does not flow with Davis on this play. So the Patriots adjusted. They kept that defender on the front side of this play. So the outside zone, getting it outside of Darrell Williams, the right tackle here, is not going to happen. So Singletary is super patient on this play. Watch the little fold block by John Feliciano. Again, the down block by Winters, the right guard. Here comes the fold block by Feliciano. Watch him wrap and seal the inside lane for Devin Singletary right there. So he gets a piece of that defender, that lighter, undersized linebacker right there, defender in the box, and Devin Singletary is able to get into the second level. So a good job of adjusting by the Patriots, but the Bills and Devin Singletary are patient up the middle. Feliciano wraps around, seals that defender, and Devin Singletary is able to gain the first down. Here's a really nice run from Devin Singletary on an outside zone run concept, but I want you to take a look at the backside block by Darrell Williams. On the snap, he is running his zone footwork, but there's no way that he is going to be able to cut or get to the front side shoulder of this defensive tackle. So he uses what some call a slingshot, or what Richie Incognito used to call a backdoor. He's the one that taught me this. Instead of trying to work to the front side, he goes backdoor right here, slings him by, and most of the time refs aren't going to call that because, again, they're looking to the front side of play, so the top of the screen. It's a backdoor block right there by Darrell Williams. He's able to allow Devin Singletary to get up into that alley, into the secondary. It's a really good play by the veteran right tackle. So let's look at it from this all-22 angle. On the snap, watch Brian Winters, John Feliciano, and Ike Boettger they all execute their zone footwork, and these linebackers are all fast flowing downhill to the ball as Devin Singletary runs that outside zone track out here. But then as they overflow and as they fast flow to the ball, he's going to cut it back up inside off of the block by Brian Winters. Just a really good cut by Singletary. He felt this lane open up really well, but again, watch Darrell Williams on the backside of this play. A really good look at the backdoor block right here by him, and it really does spring Singletary into the secondary on this play. So the Bills ran this zone concept, these zone runs all day, and they put their running backs into the second and third levels consistently. 3rd and goal, the Bills are in an empty set inside the 5-yard line, and everyone knew this play was coming. The QB draw from Josh Allen, even the Patriots were calling it out at the line of scrimmage, but they're unable to stop the play here, and that's because of better execution up front. The Patriots have a 5-man front right here, so it's man on man, and the guy that wins this for Josh Allen is Brian Winters, the right guard right here. Watch what he does to this defensive lineman here. So watch the outside hand, the right hand, as they come together and lock up. You'll see Winters snatch that hand down, snatch that left hand of that defender down, and then just drop on top of him. So he executes a snatch trap, and that really gives Josh Allen a lane to run the ball here. And he's able to jump over the top and get in there for the touchdown. So even though the Patriots knew this play was coming, the execution was better, and the Bills score 6 points from their quarterback, Josh Allen. Here's another example of the Bills' defensive tackles really just being blown off the ball and how it affects the linebackers. So on the snap, Justin Zimmer gets taken down the field on the combination or double team block, but Edmonds is able to work over the top on this play, unlike the play earlier where Ed Oliver was pushing his lap. Edmonds is able to work over the top and make the tackle on Damian Harris, saving the touchdown. Another 10 personnel grouping by the Bills on 2nd and 7, which means the Patriots come out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive backs. So the Patriots are defending the run on this play, defending 10 personnel with 7 defensive backs, and that allows Devin Singletary to get a good chunk play on this outside zone run concept, something they had a lot of success with in this game. So watch it from this angle. Deion Dawkins widens the hole. Ike Boettger, a really good play on this one against Adrian Phillips, the undersized linebacker. Feliciano does just enough to hold off the defensive tackle, and that again allows Devin Singletary to get to that second level. Boettger does a good job of getting his hands inside there, taking a good angle to him, and just riding him where he wants to go. Locks on and lets Singletary make the cut off of him. Just a good job by the Bills' offensive line running the ball. I've mentioned Jon Feliciano several times in this breakdown, and this is another one of those plays where I honestly don't know if the Bills win this game without Feliciano in the lineup. So this is a completion from Josh Allen to Tyler Kroft on the Bills mesh concept, and Kroft is just going to run a hunt route over the middle, a hook route, really right over the ball, and Josh is going to sidestep the pass rusher off the edge and complete it to him. But I want you to watch Jon Feliciano. He's at center, and the slot defender is blitzing off the edge. So on the snap, Feliciano is going to take a couple steps back so he can help out any adjacent offensive lineman. As you can see, he's uncovered. But watch what he does. He sees the slot defender blitzing from the top of the screen. He goes out and picks him up and allows Josh Allen to step up in the pocket. This is one of the better offensive line plays, if not the best offensive line play by a guy this year for the Buffalo Bills. This takes incredible awareness and technique by an offensive lineman, especially a center. This doesn't happen all that often. He allows Josh Allen to step up in the pocket, and then Josh can find Tyler Kroft for the reception. Here's another outside zone run by the Bills. This time, Zack Moss is able to get into the second and third levels of the Patriots defense, and that's a testament to his running ability here. So on the snap, you're going to see the middle linebacker, Bentley, right here, try to shoot up the middle. But Brian Winters does a good job of just getting a piece of him on a little cut block right there. But Boettger is able to cleanly scoop to the second level. The left guard scoops to the second level, picks up Phillips, and he's covered up. You see Davis push crack to the secondary defender. But watch Moss's move in the hole on Bentley. It's very subtle, and you don't see it if you're just watching Moss. So right here, Moss could easily have just got north and south right here with Bentley right there, but he gives Bentley a little shake, and that allows him to get outside the block of Boettger and by the edge defender that Dawkins is blocking. So it's very subtle, but it gained him another, 7, 10, 12 yards after contact. Just a good play in the hole by Zack Moss and running hard, and you'll see it from this other angle. One thing you saw on Zack Moss's college film is how well he protects the ball when contact is coming and how he uses that offhand. So the ball's in his left hand here. He uses that offhand to shield the ball, to protect the ball, but also to break tackles. Here comes Bentley high on Zack Moss, and watch that right arm, that right hand, just peel off the tackler. That is just a great job of using that offhand. And when you watch a running back, watch what he does with that offhand. Does he keep himself up off the turf? Does he break tackles? Does he shield the ball with that offhand? That offhand is incredibly important, especially when the ball's in the outside hand like it should be, and those pursuing linebackers are coming from inside out. And that's exactly what happens here, but Moss breaks that tackle and gains yardage after contact. That's exactly why the Bills drafted this guy in the 3rd round. We're in the 4th quarter, 2nd and 9 situation. The game is tied up at 21, and Josh Allen recognizes what looks like to be a cover 0 blitz again. So he checks to Gold Tornado is what it sounds like from the broadcast angle. And all that is a screen to John Brown to the top of the screen. It's a play they ran earlier in the year for a touchdown. All that Josh is going to do is step back and throw the screen right here. And the Bills wide receivers to the top of the screen. And their right tackle, Darrell Williams, do a great job of getting out into space and creating lanes for John Brown. The Bills have missed John Brown's speed, not just down the field, but on these little screen plays. You see the offensive lineman, Darrell Williams, and Stefon Diggs even gets a great block in the alleyway on number 41 right there. Boom. Lets him loose, and now John Brown's down the field for a first down. It was a big play by the Bills. Look at it from this angle. It's just great execution, and these screen plays were plays that a lot of people made fun of Josh Allen when he was coming out of Wyoming, that he couldn't complete these plays. But you got to give Josh Allen props on the execution, but more so from the shoulders up. He's the one that recognized that cover 0 look, and he had the answer for the play with this wide receiver screen. So Justin Zimmer is the hero for this game. You could see him on the line of scrimmage, and it's his hustle and ability to stay in this play that caused this fumble. It's exactly why a guy like him made the practice squad and then was called up. These are the type of plays that get you noticed by your coaching staff. Here it is from another angle. Look at the hustle. Look at him go right for the punch. The ball should be in Cam Newton's left hand so that he can shield it. And if it is fumbled, it usually will go out of bounds. But Justin Zimmer attacks the ball there, punches it out, and D. Marlowe is there for the recovery. Those are the plays that got Zimmer noticed, that got him called up. Here he comes with the punch again. Bam, right on the ball. Such a big play out of nowhere from the practice squad call-up. And there's no doubt that Justin Zimmer is going to be drinking for free in Western New York for the foreseeable future.